It's 44 right now and raining.
Now we were down to well, tonight it's going to be 6 with no wind chill. That's just 6, and then it'll be with wind chill. It'll be even more. So that's going to be awesome.
All right. Well, that's why we play golf inside.
Exactly.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Sim Golf Show. If you haven't seen it before, this is where Derrik and I talk about all things related to the golf simulator world, indoor golf, and everything. So we've taken a few weeks off for the holidays and all that. So we're back at it with, I guess, talk about a couple things that have happened since. And I guess, Derrik, you want to?
Yeah, I guess the first big thing's the TGL. I had to text like 5 or 6 friends of mine. Well, I don't have 5 or 6 friends, but 5 or 6 random people that I know, and message them and say, "Hey, TGL's on." Most of them don't even know what it is. So I don't know what part of the population out there. I have no clue what the TGL even was, but it did come out on the 7th. And what was your take? What was your thoughts overall?
Well, I had a lot of thoughts, but just in general, I liked it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. And then, looking on the internet and looking at comments, because I was really curious what everyone's else reaction would be, it seemed to be quite polarizing. I saw a lot of people that said they liked it. A lot of people are like, I turned it off after 20 minutes.
I seen that too,
Yeah. And it seemed to be either one, like nobody really in the middle. But I enjoyed it. I thought that the broadcast had a lot of room for improvement, and if they could figure out how to kind of make the broadcast run a little smoother and do some better things, it could be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
Okay, so I think golf-wise, it's like the greatest idea since regular golf, because there's not much you can do with golf. I mean, like that makes you want to watch it anyway. Like, you can go to a course and watch a PGA event, but that's a day. Like that's a whole day thing normally, and you're normally like the people around you are either half drunk or anyway. But so I think this was like the only step you could go to do something new that I don't know what else you could do other than this. But my one big gripe about it would be all of these PGA players have been in their own little world when they play. They're not the most personable people. Like they're not the most like, I mean, some of them are better than others, but most of them, I would love to hear them talk the entire time. And it's not that I don't know if they have the ability to do that. Like, I don't think they have the personality to be like that. I'd rather watch 4 guys that aren't pros, like, well, not watch them, but I'd rather listen to them guys talk than what these guys had to say. Because they weren't like, I mean, there's just moments of quietness where I think the broadcasters had to kind of come in, and where they could have just had, and just listen. I'd rather listen to them talk about doing shot or whatever shot they're trying to take or what they're thinking, which there was a little bit of that. But there was also these periods where like there was some lull and you just kind of thinking like, all right, I want to hear somebody, say something or make a joke or laugh at somebody or do something.
Yeah, I definitely got that. Like, these guys are exactly like you said. They're playing by themselves when they're on the PGA Tour. They're hardly maybe talking to their caddy or just chit chat in between shots, but they're not used to being on air and mic'd up.
Right, exactly.
And I mean that was cool. It's like, hey, they're going to be mic'd up. We're going to be able to hear them, and And they kind of went to that, but then a lot of times it's like we're not listening to anything. There's nothing. There's nothing to.
The idea was good, but I mean, Shoffley seemed to be a little bit of it. There was some smiling and laughing, and like I think Ricky threw the flag down once, and that was kind of something different, I guess. And Lowry, I saw him talking a few times, but it wasn't. I don't know. I'd rather just hear them, the nonstop, just them talking. But I mean, obviously, not everybody. They're on TV playing, so I'm guessing they might be a little nervous too. But I mean,
there's a first ever one, so maybe when there's a few under their belt, everybody will loosen up and it'll kind of get better. But it's also personality based, so some of them might have the personality for it, and some of them don't. But I think
Yeah.
that's part of what I meant about getting the broadcast better, because it's kind of like, yeah, like kind of a lot of dead time where it was kind of like we're just
Right.
listening to nothing really,
Right.
and so yeah, that was a little bit weird. They'll have to figure that out. Um,
And I
uh,
saw that too when they did like the TV, like with the TNT, like Phil versus Tiger kind of thing. Like
yeah,
I was pumped for that, but like when you listen to them, they're not. Phil's a little bit more talkative, but
Phil is as good as it gets. I mean,
yeah,
he is the best.
but a lot of it,
But
like when they had the other pros in there with them, like Brady. I mean, there was like I don't know, it's not as
it's
entertaining to
awkward.
listen to them as I want it to be. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awkward.
it's
Yeah,
awful. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's cool that we get to hear them, but yeah, there's not much to hear, I guess. And so,
Yeah.
what did you think about like the simulator as far as the courses and
So
how that worked?
so I have a whole new aspect of all this now. So since I've been working with the new software we've been working on, I was watching the full swing software, and I noticed it had 6 full swings. Did you see that
Yeah,
behind the
yeah,
player? My thing
yep,
is they probably did not want to misread or a no read.
yeah.
So what they do is they throw up 6, and hopefully 1 out of 6 gets sent through, and if one misses, it goes to the next one or something. Because that would be, we've all had that moment where like 5 balls don't read in a row, and you don't know
Yeah,
why. That would
yeah.
ruin this thing if that happened.
Well, actually, I watched a YouTube video. I think it was Full Swing. It could have been something else, but I watched a YouTube video where they're going through it all, and I think it was a Full Swing video where they actually mentioned, yeah, the 6 launch monitors for redundancy so that
Okay, yeah, I
we
was
don't
just
miss
guessing.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, that's what I figured it was, but I saw it
yeah.
and thought, why do they have 6? And I thought, oh, wait a minute, yeah, I would have 6 too if my business was behind the name of it, and I was worried about having a no read on live air. But yeah, I think I heard they had 16 projectors to make that image. Don't know if that's true or not, but I read that somewhere.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
they're like, tiled out to where it all comes together. I don't think the graphics are as good as GS Pro for sure, but it's not obviously GS Pro. The physics was weird. There were some shots that I saw hit the ground that since I've been doing our testing with our software, like I've looked at thousands of shots hitting the ground and what happens to them. And when I watched that, I watched a couple balls hit and I was like, that's not, why did it do that? Like that hill, that ball should have went left more. Or why did it? So anyway, there was that there. So I don't know if somebody saw that and would think, I wouldn't want someone to see that and think that's where we're at sim golf, like in the sim golf space, because it's better than what that showed.
Yeah. I saw the same thing as far as the physics and especially like the ball hitting the greens and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, okay, to you and me, we caught
Right.
that, but I think to
Right.
the average person watching, they had no idea. It's
No,
just
no,
like,
no.
okay, whatever. But
No.
but yeah, it was just kind of like it has that, or a lot
It's
of
almost
software.
gaming.
Yeah, it's like why does the ball look like it's in slow motion once it hits the ground? Like
Yeah.
it just didn't react normal. But so the other thing I was surprised that there was hardly any like ball and club data shown. Like they popped it
That was
up
the
on
other
the
thing.
screen every once in a while, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything here.
Yeah. Like my partner that's helping me out with our software, he messaged me and he was like, I'd really like to see what these side spin numbers are, because we are like, when we've done all this data stuff, like we look at the side spin and the spin axis, and we'd love to
Yeah,
kind of match it up with what they're doing and kind of get an idea. And there was only like 3 shots I remember seeing, like the shot data on the bottom of the screen. And I'd like to see it after every shot. Every shot, I
yeah,
want to see what the side spin was. And did you
yeah.
notice the apex? I don't know if this is right, but the apex for Shoffley on like 3 or 4 drives was like 37 feet, is what it said.
I didn't see that.
That just seems super low. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know. That's super low. Like my drive will be, I mean, if I hit a high one, 130 feet.
Yeah, I mean, you would
But
think
yeah,
for as far as he hits it too, it'd be a lot higher than that.
37 feet only as tall as a second
I don't
story
know.
house, or a little bit more than a second story house. That ain't very high. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that was a misread. Maybe it was in yards and I'm an idiot. I don't know.
Well, I saw one comment online that was like, I see more data on the screen at a PGA Tour event than I'm watching on this event. I'm like, that's true.
Yeah, that'd be right. Right. Three.
I don't know why they didn't show that. The other thing that I was like dying to see, and I could hardly see it, was so like in our world, the mini map where you would see the whole layout and where they picked to aim or whatnot. They mentioned it a few times, and they're like, in the arena, it's to the right of the screen, and you can kind of see where their target line is and which direction they chose. But it's like, hey man, put that on the TV. Why am I having to look through the camera on the other side of the stadium and see it out of the corner? Like I wanted to see which path they chose and like where their target was and whatnot. But when they didn't show that stuff, it was just kind of like, okay, they walk up there and hit it, and you see where it goes, and it's like, okay, that's. Well,
I thought I walked it over in the morning to show my wife, because she didn't make it stay up through it, so we watched it in the morning, and there was one hole where I was confused as what they were doing the night before, because the image didn't look the same from the tee box, and I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss? And I think, well, maybe they're playing a separate hole. I was confused, but then when I watched it the next day, it was the hole that had the 3 directions to go.
Exactly.
And one guy took left and one guy took right, so they look different. But I missed that on the first one because I had no clue that it was confusing to me, because had they had that map up the whole time and showed where they were headed, I could have been like, I would have put it all together. But the way they did it, it lost me for like a hole. I was confused.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have liked to see more of the screen, I guess, on the TV, on our TV, not having to look through the stadium at it. Because it just every shot they just kind of walked up there and hit it, and then you find out where they were aiming after that.
Yeah.
The hole designs that they created, pretty out there. I was kind of I'm not sure how I felt about it. Like I saw a lot of people that said that they liked it.
Yeah.
Obviously they're completely fantasy holes, and it just seemed too out there for me, and especially the ones where you had like you were talking about that one where there were 3 different fairways you could go through on the same hole, and I was just like, I want to see them play the same hole. I don't know. It just seemed it was a little bit too much of a stretch away from what a golf hole is to me, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think what's going to happen, and this will make sense, is they only have a certain number of holes. And I think by naming the holes, we'll all get familiar with them as it goes. Yeah. And like when they say like, what I don't remember the names of the holes, but at some point we might know the name of a hole and understand what's going on better, because it is just that one hole over and over and over again that, but since it was the first time, maybe I see what you mean, but I agreed. But hopefully that'll be better.
Before I forget, there were a couple of hot mic moments that I stood out to me. One was Ricky Fowler hit a tee shot. I can't remember when it was on the show, but he hit a tee shot, and then he's looking at it and he's like, "How did that go right?" And I'm like, okay, I'm wondering if he's like, I felt the draw there, but it ended up cutting or something like that. Yeah. And then there was another one where I think it was Wyndham Clark. He was telling somebody, he was like, hey, if I hit a good one, it's a simulator. If I hit a bad one, or if I hit a good one, it's me. If it's a bad one, it's a simulator. And they were laughing about it. So
I heard him say something. I don't remember who it was, but they mentioned about I think he was talking to Shop. Somebody was talking to Shopley, and he said instead of just aiming something, I heard him say just aim like it's to the. It made me think that he was doing something different than what it was made to be. I don't know what he was saying, but it was like he was figuring out a different way to do whatever they were planning on doing.
It was something like somebody said something like you've got to feel like you're aimed way left or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that they were trying to figure out the feel for hitting in that arena, maybe slightly offset from the center of it or something like that, which is, maybe someone's got a little indoor swing syndrome in there.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, sounds like indoor swing syndrome. How many balls do you think it would take for you to crush one of those LEDs on the left or the right of the screen?
Not
You
many.
do it less than 5. I'll do less than 5. I could probably take
Yeah.
one out.
Yeah, with the driver could be anywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, I think I messaged my cousin, and he didn't know about it. I messaged him and told him to watch, and he said, "Oh, it seems like they fixed all the issues with simulator golf," because he doesn't really do sim golf, but he knows that the short game stuff is the weird stuff that's hard to get the feel for and putting and all that in sim golf.
Yeah, so that it's like they took, anything somebody doesn't like about sim golf and just changed it because they have the budget to. So instead of hitting on mats, they've got real grass. And then the short game stuff they're doing in the real world, I think it was like 30 yards an in.
50, I think. Yeah.
50. Well, so the short game stuff, I don't know if you picked this up, but it seemed like it to me. It seemed like they were all having a tough time getting used to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That greenside stuff where.
I heard Tiger talking about the grain, right? Is that what?
Yeah, they're talking about the grain on one side versus the other. And
I put my artificial turf in my sim room, and it lays naturally one direction. And then I laid another section down, and it laid the other direction. But in person, I can't tell the difference. But if you put a camera on them, you can tell the difference of the grain. And I can see that if you had to chip into that thick stuff, it would be a little hard because all that grass is laying at like a 45-degree angle this way, and you're trying to hit through it, and it just doesn't want to work. And they're not used to that, obviously. So that was a little goofy, but obviously, they can probably get used to it. They'll be okay.
You could tell that they were struggling. Pretty much everybody except for Ludwig.
This is a stupid complaint, but they got to get rid of that plastic putt sound when the ball goes in the hole. Did you hear it? It sounds like the cheapest thing of hollow plastic.
Was that a sound effect or was that the microphone?
I don't think so, but it was just weird. It just made me think it made me think cheap. I don't know. I'd rather it not have had that noise because it made me think of a putt course.
Yeah. The only other thing that stood out to me, I think, was the shot clock. But
I like that.
I mean, I like that they had a shot clock, but it just seemed like they were always rushing, which, you got to get a lot of it in, but at the same time, I think it almost took away from some of them talking, because they get up there and they got to go. It's like they can't sit there and kind of say, well, I'm going to aim on the left side, I'm going to play a fade, and try to they're not going to do that.
Here.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't think they really had the time to do that because that they're going one after another with that 40-second shot clock. So everybody just seemed like they were rushing on there, which they just got to figure it out, the right mix of everything.
Yeah, so, I'm sure I'm sure there was somebody looking at posts and reading things and taking a little checklist of, well, everybody seems to hate that we do this. Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah,
because I heard that they signed for 2 seasons already.
Oh, really?
So it's going to be on for at least 2 seasons before it either keeps going or gets canned. One of the two.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, so they'll have some time to figure some things out. And overall, I liked it, but I'm so into it all that I'm a little bit curious how the average viewer is are they gonna hang on to it, or is it gonna get old pretty quick?
What do you think it's gonna do to? What do you think it's gonna do to sim golf though, for the people that are sitting at home and just saw it for the first time?
I don't know. I mean, this was so it was supposed to happen originally a year ago, right?
Right.
And they had that delay with the bubble that
storm
collapsed or something. But back then, talking to some of the people in the industry, they were like, "Hey, this is gonna blow up. Sim golf is gonna be huge." I don't know. I mean, I think people's biggest problem is always space in their house. So if they don't have that, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I think it'll probably put it on some more people's radar. I didn't really consider, that, or maybe they'll look into it a little bit. It'll make them kind of research and see like, oh, what does it really cost?
Right.
So I definitely think there'll be a bump. Um,
I got a phone
but
call the next
I
morning.
don't know.
I got a
Did
phone
you?
call the next morning that said, how late you guys open? I said, well, I'm here till 5, but my guess is you think I'm a simulator place that you can rent out. He said, yeah. I said, no, that's not what I do. He said, okay. So I don't know if that was related to that or not, but somebody called me the next morning wanting to play sim golf.
Probably so. I mean, that's
'Cause
a
we
good
didn't have anything
question.
like that.
For a lot of those places that are what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank. A place where you go
Like a
rent a
facility or that
bay.
a couple days or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they'll see an increase.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place called X Golf that opened kind of near me. There's another one that's only local, and I bet that they'll get a lot more interest in people going in there and seeing. They host leagues and stuff.
There's one called 5-Iron.
Yeah,
I saw it in Philadelphia a few weeks ago.
yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was in Pittsburgh. I wasn't in Philadelphia. I was in Pittsburgh. And I saw a 5-Iron place there. We drove by, and I looked them up, and apparently they have them scattered around a little bit. But yeah, I think those places will probably see a little bit of a bump. And then I think people, like you said, the searches will kind of pick up a little bit. And I think you'll see people realize that it's not $50,000 to get started anymore.
Yeah.
And if they have the room, then yeah, they might. It can't hurt, put it that way.
Yeah, it's only going to be good. There's only going to be
Yeah.
positive for it. And yeah, I mean, before I had ever looked into it at all, my first instinct was like, that's a golf simulator in your house. That's going to be like 50 grand. So,
Right.
Maybe a lot of people have that same thought, and then they're like, oh, wait, no, it's actually within reach.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Anything else with TGL?
TGL. No, I still think they should put one random golfer on there for comparison purposes. That'd be nice. just to get an idea.
Yeah. I've always wondered, this is off topic, but I'm like, for Simulator Golf Tour, every week, it's a cool deal, but and people will live stream those, right?
Right.
But it's really boring to watch a live stream of somebody playing sim golf, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know some people watch them, but I'm just like, it would be so cool to do kind of like what your concept was with those SimX matches. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
I'm just like, because this is so cool and I like watching it, but I want to see it kind of, more entertaining, not just somebody's live stream. And it kind of reminded me of that. TGL is kind of like, it's live, but how do we make it more of a show to watch? And I'm like wondering, how do we do that with like SGT or something just, for the average person and put it on YouTube? It'll be interesting. I
have an idea that's related to that. I've talked about it before, but it's more of a concept, but I'll let you know how it works. Or I'll talk to you about it all. But yeah, it's similar to. It would definitely be what you're talking. It would be a fix for what you're talking about. It would just be a lot of computer game development in mind. But yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
Maybe TGL will perfect the formula for live matches, and we can just copy that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, I think it was 2 days ago, Foresight announced some changes to their GC3 line.
I don't know this, so you're teaching me too.
Okay. Basically, they have come up with the GC3S, and I should probably pull up the screen so I don't say any of the prices wrong. But the GC3S is now going to be a subscription-based Foresight GC3 with the same subscription that the Launch Pro had, so $500 a year.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up so that... See my screen?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at my screen too. Yeah, I'm on the same one.
Okay, so let's see. They've got the Foresight GC3S. You can still get the regular GC3 for the same price. Let me see. The GC3S is $37.99. So it's $37.99 plus a $500 a year subscription.
And is that any different than like the Launch Pro? Or
yeah, so the Launch Pro, I believe, used to be $3,500 with the club data, and then the same subscription. So it's $300 more. I think it was $3,500, but it's about $300 more. And then now this new feature is called Link. And what it does is it comes with a Bushnell rangefinder that is connected to all of your Foresight data. And so the way it's supposed to work is that you're using your GC3S and you've got all this shot data, your dispersion with all these different clubs and yardages. And so whenever you use this rangefinder on the course, it pulls from that data and tells you like a club recommendation or things like that.
Do you want to throw up an animation of a thumbs down for me?
First reaction, huh?
Yeah, I can tell you why that's dumb.
Okay.
Let's say I'm 150 yards out. I have like 5 different clubs that I may hit. Now, this isn't going to know. If every shot that I hit was full swing, then yeah, that's fine. But if I'm 150 out and the pin's in the back, I might take a 6-iron and hit it low. Or I might take if pin's in the back left, I might take a 9-iron and hit a high draw. So what's it going to recommend?
That was kind of my thought too. It's kind of like I don't need a club recommendation, and that's what I'm starting to look for. I'm wondering if it does a lot more than that. I haven't really looked too much into it. Just kind of watching these videos here to see like 150 yards, 8-iron, personalized club play as distance, 144 yards. So my first reaction too was like, okay, I don't need that.
Yeah. I don't think anybody needs that.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, and but I don't know that a rangefinder is going to do as much for you as you could. I mean, it's cool to take the concept of having all your data from the simulator or the launch monitor and use it while you're playing. But I would probably need to see more, like on the GPS of the hole, like if you're on the green, and you can see that your 7-iron, on average with the dispersion, you're 4 yards left of target, and so you could pick your aim using that. Like that's a little bit more detailed, and to me more useful. I don't know that it does that. I'm just saying, I could see using that data that way. But just a club recommendation, I don't need that because of the same reason you pointed out, and I already know because we get that, we get our yardages all the time indoors. So
well, not every shot's dependent on just a certain carry. Like it's not like like I said, pins at 150 yards. Okay, well, there's a lot of okay, say you're 150 yards, but you're looking head into a 30-mile-an-hour wind. Now, what's that going to say?
Yeah.
That's not going to be the same club. So that's dumb. It seems like they were just looking for something new to add, and maybe we're missing something, but
that's what I'm wondering. I mean, maybe we're missing something. Maybe we'll have to see like the full thing, but yeah, my first reaction was, I don't think anybody was asking for that feature.
Yeah. No.
So GC3S, $37.99. You need the $500 a year subscription, and it comes with that Bushnell rangefinder that it's linked to. Now there's another one, and this is the LPI, like the Launch Pro I guess. And this one is $27.99, and you do need that $500 a year subscription as well. But this one is not portable. So it's like the iMini Lite where it has to be plugged in, and it does not have a screen on the unit itself. So they took the screen off, and I think they put a pad there for you to like rest your phone on it, and you can use your phone if you want to.
Okay, well, that's a better idea than the other thing, but it's still, my whole Foresight issue is $500 a year to play just so you can use GS Pro is stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a little much.
Yeah. So at least on this one, the LPI, it comes with the club data. So that price is lower, and it's indoor only. So that, makes
good.
it, that's good. I mean, makes the overall price a little lower. You still have that subscription, so there's that. And then you have the regular GC3, which is still the same price, about $7,000, no subscriptions. So, interesting choices and more options now.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, I don't think many people take their launch monitor to the range, to be honest. It's got to be like, I bet it's under 2% of sim owners that take their stuff to the range.
Yeah. I thought that I would, and I never do. I guess I also don't go to the range anymore. So
that's the other reason. Yeah.
Why would I go to the range when I can just not leave the house?
All right. So since you brought up a new launch monitor, I'm going to bring up a new launch monitor.
Okay.
So I've been waiting for this for 5 years. I knew somebody was going to do it. It just took this long to get it done. But so somebody has come up with what they're calling the PiTrac, and Pi as in PI, from a Raspberry Pi. They're basically creating an open source launch monitor that anybody will be able to buy the pieces for and assemble and run whatever software that they've created with it. And have a launch monitor for, I think it's going to cost, right now it's somewhere between $300 and $500, something like that, for all the pieces. But it's PiTrac, okay. PiTrac. And if you search, you'll find it's the little mock-up they have is it's basically like a SkyTrack. Someone recreated a SkyTrack from scratch, kind of. Except this has two cameras. One's like looking at the ball, and one's looking at, if you look up Hackaday, it's hackaday.io, and then PiTrac. There you go. Yeah.
Got it.
You see that little disaster of a prototype on the left?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, you got to start there. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically they're creating an open source launch monitor that, what I'm guessing is going to happen now, what could easily happen is you're going to have people that are easily be able to build these and probably sell them for a couple $100 more than the sale price. And you're going to have a launch monitor for $400, $500, $600, which puts you in the same categories like the Square or used SkyTrack. But it's neat that it's getting to this point, though.
Interesting. So I'm reading the description quickly, and PiTrac project is a fully functional golf launch monitor that avoids the need for expensive high shutter speed and high frame rate cameras. We've developed techniques for high-speed infrared strobe-based image capture and processing using cameras such as the Pi Global Shutter camera that retails for $50 and the Raspberry Pi single-board computers. Interesting.
So if you're a little creative, you can build your own now.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen any kind of review of this
yet? Videos.
Like how well it works?
I don't know how many there are that exist, but there's a couple YouTube videos on them using it. I guess if you scroll down farther on the same page, you'll see some videos.
So, okay.
Keep going. There's a little, so $396 is what they're saying for all the parts and pieces are. I messaged them to talk to them. And I'm going to get them some free software that they'll be able to use with a launch monitor. I'm going to try to build one of these bad boys over the next, maybe during the summer when things slow down a little bit. But my guess is what's going to happen is, which I think they've already started, is they're going to actually create a board that you can buy, and then you'll just have to basically plug the parts and stuff into it and maybe solder a couple things. But for the most part, you'll be able to put it together like a Lego set.
Yeah. So yeah, I see here the parts total $396. Looks like right here they have it connected to E6, maybe.
I know they have it on GS Pro for sure, but I don't know if they've done E6 or not.
Okay. I guess my question is, I guess it depends how well it works, but like,
Yeah,
if you're going to spend $400 on parts plus your
you might as
time,
well.
like,
Yeah.
does it work better than a Garmin R10 or
Right.
a Square? That's not much more.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's cool.
Well, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it just to say I did it more than like needing it, but like,
I know you would do it. You would do it for fun.
I would, but like, so, like, I heard the SkyTrack only uses a 300 frames per second camera. Now, I've never looked into that with anybody official that's told me that, but I've heard that before. So, 300 is not crazy. I mean, we're not talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So if they can pull it off with two of those, then I've also been told that the way that can work is if you take two cameras that are 300 and then you overlap the images, it becomes 600. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes sense.
Interesting.
So like if one flashes in the middle of when the other one's flashing, that gives you the 600 frames per second. So I guess, I mean, even if not, it looks like it has two cameras built in, one that looks at the ball and then one that like looks after the ball's in the air. I don't know, but I just thought it was cool that they're getting to this point of which this can only bring down prices.
That was my first thought when you started talking about this. I'm thinking, okay, what's the industry? I mean, how it's just getting harder and harder to charge so much for launch monitors.
Yep.
But I will say, like not all launch monitors are created equal, right? So there's a reason that the ones that cost more than others, but everything should be coming down.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
And there's 14,000 views on it. So I don't know how long he's been up and doing it. I found out about it a few weeks ago and sent him a message and talked to him a little bit about it. And so we're gonna do something. Maybe we'll have him on here. He can explain this whole thing to us.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't. I'll see if I can't do that. I'll try to get him and see if he can explain what the hell he did here and if it'll work. It's
PiTrac.
PiTrac. Yep.
Sounds a lot like.
Yeah.
But I guess it's open source, right? Nobody's making any money on it. So.
No, it's all open source. So
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. Give it a year, maybe. Maybe it'll be down to $200, and you'll have even if these are hard to build, you're going to have a few guys that are good at it and that can build them out and knock them out in no time. That's what's going to happen.
Well, keeps getting interesting here.
Yeah. Let's see. I know I mentioned something else. What else did we say we were going to talk about?
I don't know. Speaking of all that stuff, I mean, in a couple weeks, I'm going to the PGA Show.
Oh,
PGA Show. Be checking out hopefully all the new release stuff from all these companies and seeing what's going to be coming and
then telling me so I can find out about it.
Yeah, I think it's some of them announce stuff right before. Some of them announce it like during the show. It's kind of interesting to see. So hopefully I'll get to try a lot of stuff out. I know Unicor's got some new stuff coming that I heard about, and so we'll see that. I'll hopefully be able to check out this GC3S stuff in person, see if maybe we are missing a little bit more to it. Carl's Place has a new release. Oh, you're not supposed to say it yet.
I found it on their website.
It's on their website?
Well, it's on somebody posted about it. It was I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know anything. They never told me nothing.
All right, I'm going to have to bleep that out.
All right. Is it not on there?
No, I don't see anything on their website.
Well, where did I see it at then?
I don't know. Somebody opened their mouth.
I think it was in the Facebook group then. Somebody did in the Facebook group.
Yeah. But anyways, they've got something new that they're launching. I think they'll announce it before the show, but I'll get to see it in person, so that'll be cool, and try it out. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot of cool stuff to be able to share with everybody. So,
SkyTrack had an update the other day that now has practice where you can drop the ball anywhere, which I thought it already had anyway, so I didn't even know about it.
Yep.
That was the new thing for them.
On-course practice with SkyTrack, which is good to see. You know, they gotta roll stuff out. You know, they gotta get that launch out with course play and then add to it over time. So yeah, hopefully they'll continue to make it better. I think there were some putting updates to that one as well. I haven't set it up yet and tried it. So, well, it was a good place to end it, and I don't think we've come up with a way to end these shows. So, until next time, Bruce McDuffer. There we go. Not exactly what I was thinking, but you know, that'll work. You're gonna have to perform at the end of every show.
I'll try to do that. Yeah, everybody would just watch it for the end.
What's that?
Everybody would just tune in for the end.
Yeah. Oh, we don't want that. We want them to.
Yeah.
Not fast forward. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.